It's like a video game.
Hey, no fair! Sam will win for sure!
I am Nikarasu with the Paparazzu, and in this video, I'll be going over the Totally Spies video game, Totally Spies Cyber Mission. Now, I am a bit late on this, and I want to try and make this video sooner, since I had stopped playing the game for a while and just recently finished the story. But without further ado, I give you the video you've all been waiting for. Or at least one of them. Now, to be honest, I didn't really have any expectations for this game. I wasn't expecting Totally Spies to be something Game of the Year worthy or anything like that. But even so, I wasn't expecting to get what we got. Now, there are two things I want to get out of the way first. The first thing are the graphics. I myself don't think the graphics look the greatest. Like, it doesn't look visually good. Now, I normally don't care about graphics. When it comes to video games, if the graphics are bad but everything else is really good, then I don't mind. I'd rather have a game like that than a game that looks good but plays like shit. The other thing that I want to get out of the way is the story. I won't be really going into the story in this video because Totally Spies is something that's never been story driven. But if you want to know my honest thoughts on a story, I thought it was fine. I liked it. When you go and select the level, you're given the option of which spy to play as. And I picked Sam every single time. During the levels, you'll be able to switch out the spies, which is something that you'll need to do, because they'll each have a gadget that you'll need to use. Alex has the dab that she uses to break crates that are in the way. Clover has the laser lips hit that cuts through locks and doors. And Sam has something that she uses to move vehicles out of the way. Every mission provides each spy with a different gadget. They're each needed to get through the level. So it's essential to switch out spies. But aside from having to use each of their gadgets, there are levers and panels so you can use any of the spies to activate. But there are ones where you need to use the specific spy to activate, which gives you another reason to switch out the spies. However, you won't always be able to switch out spies, since there are sections in the game where they force you to play as the specific spy. And you won't be able to switch them out until you reach the end of the section. Like any good spy, you need to use stealth, which is what you'll be doing to get past enemies. There are enemies that turn, and there are enemies that just stay still. Most of the time, you're going to want to be crouching as you're moving, because if you're just walking normally behind an enemy, they'll be able to hear your footsteps and you'll get caught, which is what you don't want to happen. Aside from really sneaking behind them, there are multiple things within the levels that you can use to hide from enemies, and then get out and sneak off at the right time. There'll be times where you're going to be able to do more than just sneak past them. Some of the gadgets that you're provided with can be used against enemies. These gadgets are actually supposed to be used against enemies. They can either stun them, freeze them, or trap them.
Gotcha, bitch!
Aside from the gadgets, there are also chests around levels that you can collect, which are used when you get caught. They stun whoever spots you so that you have enough time to get away from them. Aside from the fab spy suits, the handy gadgets, sneaking past and taking down baddies, there's still one important thing that every spy needs to know and do. And that thing is using their minds to think. And what better way to do that than trying to solve puzzles? First, we have the light up tiles that briefly appear and you have to memorize it. If done correctly, you pass through. If not, you start all over. The other one requires you to move crates around so you can proceed to the next area. However, you can't just move the crates wherever. You have to be at a certain angle in order to move it in a certain direction. And you have to be careful where you put it because you could end up getting stuck. And that's about all there is for the puzzles. That's even all there is to this game. You're either just using stuff to get by enemies, or just solving a quick puzzle. Now, I don't necessarily mind these in the game, however, that's all there is to this game, which makes it really repetitive. You're just doing the two same things over and over again. This game being repetitive is the reason why I stopped playing it for a while, which is why it took a while for me to make this video. Now, I get that Totally Spies in this game aren't something that was meant to be groundbreaking or anything like that, but they still could have added things to this game that would have worked. With the very first thing, and something I thought was going to be in this game for sure, are combat sections. Now, I wouldn't expect the combat to be anywhere near the same level as the Batman Arkham games, or the Insomniac Spider-Man games, as that'd be crazy to be expecting from Totally Spies. Instead, It could have been similar to the combat in the old Teen Titans game, with each spy having their own gadgets and combos. And just like in the Teen Titans game, you'll be able to unlock more combos as you progress. Plus, combat like this equals a great time with friends. The second thing that I should have added is an open world. An open world of Singapore. And a small part of Whoop World, where you can get new gadgets and upgrade gadgets from Toby's Fab Lab. As for the parts of Singapore, there could have just been small parts of it that gave us access to side missions, which could have led to boss battles against old enemies, like Tim Scam, Geraldine, Jazz Hands, and Ariel. The last thing that they could have added was a shopping district.
Our outfits have to shine.
Shopping is a big part of their daily lives, probably the biggest. They could have had us use Whoop coins to buy new clothes for the spies, where you would be able to switch them out in a dressing room. There are other games that have something like that. It would make sense and fit with Totally Spies for this to have been added. Overall, I don't think Cyber Mission was a good game, due to how extremely repetitive it is. Granted, there are things about the game that I do like. Even though I do have my issues with the stealth, they weren't necessarily that bad, and there were times where I thought they did make sense. And I like how in every level, the game requires you to play as each spy, since it gives you a reason to play as each of them. At times, it is forced, and I personally didn't mind since I was playing this game by myself. But I can see the issue with it when you're playing with friends, since it does ruin the pacing a bit. Overall, I'd probably give Totally Spies Cyber Mission a 3 out of 10. With my personal enjoyment maybe being a 4.5 out of 10. And that about covers everything in this video. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. And feel free to share your thoughts down below in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, feel free to check out my other videos, shorts, community, and subscribe.